Start the party.
You're listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, live with Josh Kimmel and Leighton Harrington. If you want to be a part of our show tonight, call 419-549-5744.
Would you like to optimize your success out in the field? Metal detecting and gold prospecting? One word: Coil Tech. They've been manufacturing high-performance aftermarket coils for years now for popular models such as the E-Track, the Sovereign, the Explorer series, the GPX series, and our favorite, the 10x5 for the CTX 3030. Great target separation in trashy areas, still maintaining excellent depth for the coil size. Coil Tech is optimizing discovery, your potential for success in the field. You can check them out at coiltechmanufacturing.com.au.
All right, we're back. We're live. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for you, the always valued and appreciated listener. And for us too, because we just have so much fun with this. Well, how's it going, Leighton?
Pretty good, buddy. Yeah, we have so much fun. Every time I hear that commercial, and then you get on there and you say good evening, and welcome to Beyond Sight and Sound, the valued listener. I always sounds like a Walmart commercial. The valued customer.
Oh, that's it. We're gonna have to throw that out the window.
That's the first thing that comes to my mind. But anyway, we're doing pretty good. How you doing tonight?
Yeah,
buddy?
Listen to Beyond Sight and Sound. We're helping you live better, hunt smarter.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's man, I'll tell you what. I think it went from like winter to summer overnight. Today was 71 degrees here.
I think we got up to like 82.
Get out. Wow. It did go to summer.
Well, I mean, that's what I hear. I slept through it.
Wow. Yeah, I can't sleep during the day. I don't know how you do that shift, but man, I'll tell you, I did it when I was younger. I just can't. Daytime, I'm like, my eyes are like saucers. I gotta be up and doing something.
Well, it helps because where I'm at, I know the type of people that I would have to work with during the day, and we just can't have that.
Yeah, I see. I understand. All right. Well, let's move on to the next subject.
Well, let's see here. Dropping into the chat and looking, we've got a few guests in, so welcome to those guests, whether it's a returning listener or a first-time listener. We've actually got Mark from Florida in. We've got a couple of them from Florida in. We've got Michael in there, too. We've got Homefinder. Swansea's in. The Miss Tam. And I can't forget that one. I just see that Mr. Jim Ferriello is in the chat tonight. So, shout out to him. Welcome.
Jeez. You know what? Oh, boy. What were we talking about the other night? Do you remember? For the life of me, I can't think. Were we talking about the pinpointers? I want to get right into this tonight.
Well, we had talked a little bit about the pinpointers, but we were more geared towards the topic the other night of what do you carry into the field?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because, it's a necessity the way you pack. Whereas for me, I can pack a little lighter.
Right.
And still get the job done. Especially where we were in Ohio in that last hunt.
Whoa. Hold
hey,
the phone.
Trevor is in there. Good evening, Trevor.
Yes. Hello, Trevor. Welcome. Wow. And honestly, I had no clue he was dropping in. That is not why I played the Coil Tech clip.
I know. I was just going to say, what a coincidence, right? He just missed it. I hope he was listening.
Yeah, because, I mean, he just logged in, so he missed it by minutes.
Oh, man. That's okay.
We're still glad to have him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, waving the hand to our friends out at Coil Tech across the pond.
Absolutely. Welcome aboard, Grant. Hey, listen, we are worldwide.
That's right. Yeah, we've got them in from, looking through here real quick, I can guarantee at least we've got them in from Massachusetts, Colorado, Florida, New Hampshire, Ohio, Adelaide, Australia, all over the place.
Man, oh man.
Yeah. So I guess Trevor has the prestige of being our far-out listener tonight.
Far out?
Yeah.
Isn't definitely. That's a U.S. slang, isn't it? Or it used to be. Now you're showing your age, buddy.
Well, groovy TTFN. Wow. But, like you were saying, yeah, sometimes I pack a little heavier. But you have to.
Right. I mean, not being able to see is definitely a hindrance. And so, people got to realize that, you're being the passenger most of the times, I'm assuming. You're not out there.
I'm not driving. It's hard to get the dog to stay on the hood.
Hey, I thought you had a CNI dog. Come on, work with me.
Yeah, it's hard to get him to stay on the hood.
Right.
He keeps sliding off every time I turn.
Hey, the Mack trucks have no problem with that little hood ornament out there.
Well, that's true.
Right?
That is true.
Yeah. You get out there and you have to have, your radio, and, you also have 2 pinpointers. It's not like you can just drop what you've got in the field and run back to the truck for the most part.
Right.
Whereas, I have no problem with that. I can get right back and forth in the blink of an eye. No pun intended. And just get back there and get right back out there hunting. So I travel real light. I don't even have, I know those guys use foo-foo juice and all that stuff. I wait. I throw it all in my pouch, buddy. If it looks like a decent coin, silver or something like that, put it in my little special container. And even that's real tiny.
Well, I'll usually carry a bottle of water with me because especially in the hotter months like we were talking the other week, you want to make sure you stay hydrated, you stay cool. Right. And I'm usually carrying a camera and maybe a battery for a pinpointer. But a lot of times it depends on where I'm going or the type of area that I'm hunting. Like say, if I run down to the local park, I'm not going to take a piranha with me.
Right. Fair enough, yeah.
But then, excuse me, but like at the Ohio dig.
Yep.
Now, there's a grand example because at the Ohio dig, I had my sling pack with me. And one of the big reasons why I had that sling pack with me was if I would have taken that off and unzipped the main compartment, I had my Coil Tech 10x5 in there.
Yes, you did. I remember seeing it. Yes. I also had mine, but I wasn't carrying it with me. I had mine in the vehicle. So.
Yeah, you had yours in the trunk.
Right, exactly. So, we were there. We had all the goodies with us. I just prefer to travel a little bit lighter, especially, going up and down those mountains. See, you're used to it out there because you know exactly what you are up against. Me coming from another state, especially this state.
Yeah, you're coming from the flatland.
Definitely flat. There's only, the western part of Massachusetts does have hills and a few mountains, but not anything near like, where you were at that day. So, I know that first day that you and Josh and myself went up and scouted around towards the afternoon. I was huffing and puffing, buddy. I'm in pretty good shape too. So
right,
just,
you
just
are.
one of those things. Just one of those things. I just not.
You weren't used
the terrain. Exactly, the terrain was definitely different. So
yeah, had to kind of acclimate.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I was ready by the next day, and we got her done.
Oh yeah, the next day you were taking them hills like a regular trooper.
Hey, I was an antelope.
Hey, the nice thing about areas like that, though, is it seems like a workout to get to the top, but it's so easy to come down.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I was looking. Hey, the more and more I, saw the vehicles when they started to get in sight, I was like, oh, thank God. But then remember where we had to park?
Right.
We had to go downhill to get to them, and what do we have to do to get to them?
Downhill and then up over a fence.
Yeah, and then oh boy.
Our favorite news host Lori is in too.
Right. Hey, Lori, how are you? So yeah, as far as traveling light, that's how I hunt. I've only got a pouch. It's got 3 separate compartments. One is for the goodies. One is for, the trash, obviously. And I've got a little one in the center that holds that little plastic container for, my silvers or whatever. And then I've got a pinpointer and my metal detector. That's it.
See, now, like if I'm just close to home somewhere, I'll walk out, I'll have, my pouch, my digger, my pinpointer, maybe my extra pinpointer in the pouch, a bottle of water, and a ground cover cloth.
Yeah. Well, speaking of water, I think we all did carry some water that first day. But, again, we didn't realize how close to the vehicles we were actually going to be because everything, you got to remember, was presented to us on a map. Well, even though there was a scale on the map, we weren't quite sure how far away we were going to be.
I mean, you can scale stuff like that out, but I still like to err on the side of caution and see it in person first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad we actually had a chance to get over there before dark that first day. Did you see me make my grand entrance, by the way?
No, I did not, but I heard about it.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was about as well as my grand exit that day. So you're not alone.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. Talk about being embarrassed. But I certainly did get up extremely fast. And I said, oh, thank God, nobody saw me do that move. So anyway, I fell over a piece of barbed wire. And, it got caught on my pant leg anyway. So I guess my legs don't go quite as high as they used to. So that being said, I get up, I look around, nobody saw me. About 4 or 5 minutes into the hike, going up the hill, I hear, "Are you okay?" I said, "Oh,
I saw that.
I saw that." And I said, "Yeah, and I meant to do it too." Oh, man. So anyway, that was that.
Well, I tell you, I didn't get that luxury. As a matter of fact, I didn't even get the chance to touch the ground, because next thing I know is I was starting to go. Next thing you know, I get this weightless sensation, and I'm flying through the air because, Kurt Franz grabbed me. And wow, I'll tell you what, if my house is ever on fire, he can just drag me right out, no problem.
There you go.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Definitely.
Yes, he is. I can recall asking him at that hunt. I just stopped and walked past him. I said, "So, how does it feel anyway?" He said, "How does what feel?" I said, "Well, you got to be the first one to know when it rains."
It's being so close to the clouds, right?
Yeah, has Google contacted you yet to rent you for satellite or something?
Right. Oh, man. So tell the folks why you have two pinpointers. Because I carry one. I mean, obviously they both do the same thing, but is it because you're afraid maybe one might break down while you're out there and you're too far away from the vehicle to go back? Or?
That is part of it.
Okay.
Or, just on the off chance that the battery goes dead in one, I've got one. And usually, because I've got a few different pinpointers around here, because I like to pick them up and, try them out, talk about them on the show, talk about them on YouTube, and then if somebody asks me a question about them, or somebody calls in talking about them, I can speak from experience, and I know what pinpointer you're talking about. I've personally used it type thing.
Right.
So
we all pick the same one, it seems. Obviously, the Garrett Carrot seems to be a huge, popular pinpointer, right?
Right, and usually when I leave the house, you can guarantee that thing is in the pouch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you straight out, I have used a few other ones myself. I don't have them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the ProFind here from Mine Lab. I've got the Garrett Carrot, and I've got two X pointers.
How do you like the X pointer? Where are we at? Let's be honest. Let's talk shop.
They're all right.
Okay.
But now this goes back to, again, why I carry two pinpointers. Usually, I've got my ProFind with me, and I will use that quite a bit. But if I cut a plug and I get down there and the ProFind isn't picking it up, and I think it's a little out of range of the ProFind or something, let you in on a big secret. The Garrett Carrot has more depth.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Go big or go home, right? We just talked about that.
Now, and with that, this is a little bit of a weird side note, I guess. You know how, like, sometimes different detectors run on different frequencies, so some detectors may hit on certain targets better. I have found out in the field that there have been times where the ProFind will pick up on a target better than the Garrett.
Okay. Because, see, I've never experienced that with mine. Never. I've always had, because, the Garrett Carrot obviously has three settings. The third one being the furthest away from the target, let's say, whereas one is really close.
Which must be where you have your set, since you like to dig 2.5-foot holes.
Right? Now, hey, speaking of that, I just want to throw something at you real quick here. I always get in the field, somebody will come up to me, and they want to chat, and we're talking, and they always say, so how deep does that thing go? Well,
it goes as deep as I need it to.
It does, yeah. And I try to answer them with a straight and honest answer. But, the thing is, I said, well, if I'm looking for a car or a truck, I would imagine it'd go 10 feet deep. But since we're not on that, that end of the spectrum today, I'm looking for coins and stuff like that. And if I'm on a beach, if I get something 10, 12 inches, that's pretty dang deep. So, out in the water, a gold heavy class ring, 2.5, 3 feet is ridiculously deep. But I've never got anything 3 feet deep. I have gotten cans that deep, up to my knees.
Yeah, I guess we should say nothing good that deep.
Yeah, usually, but I've made some pretty big holes that are at least knee deep, so a good 24 inches anyway.
Right.
And as well as I do, the deeper you go out in the water and the deeper you dig, the smaller the hole gets at the bottom. So you really don't have a whole lot of leverage, let's say.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, which is why I bring a mask, because once I've used my foot to fan away and make that hole and go over the hole and find the target still in the hole at the bottom, it's nice to go down and look with your mask and snorkel and still stay above water with everything. You know, you're kind of just bending over is what I'm saying. You can see inside the hole. So it kind of gives you a little bit of perspective. It's great. Works out fantastic.
Well, and you know, that's another thing. Because when we're out water hunting, we're carrying a different type of setup. You may have your sifter with you or something.
Right.
And
yeah,
speaking
absolutely.
of water hunting, I just noticed Lori asked in the chat, recommendations on a good beach scoop.
There you go. Well, I personally use a Stavar. Those are from Russia. Is it good? Yeah, it's good. If you're digging in sand, it is stainless. I have beat mine up to death. Do I still have it? Yeah, I've had it for about 4 years now. In fact, I've got 2 of them. Both of them are beat up. But I'm digging in rock. And when I say rock, I'm not talking pebbles. I'm talking rocks. Like some of these rocks are like maybe half the size of a basketball to move. So, I mean, I have to add, I've gone through so many of the handles that I said, you know what, enough is enough. I went to my local welder. I had him put a 62-inch stainless steel handle welded to the stainless steel basket. Now,
good grief, you got a long handle. You could put a flag on that.
Pretty much. But I'll tell you what, it works, and when you need it, it's there. Now, a lot of people...
Yeah, you shouldn't have any problem with leverage.
Oh, none at all whatsoever. But you know, the name of them, Laurie, is Stavar. S-T-A-V-R. But there are other ones that look built just as good. You know, I'm not trying to promote Stavar or anything like that. That's right, just one that I have right now.
Being up where she is, she could probably even call Radio World.
Oh, absolutely. I was just going to say, you know, call Jack Summers over there, and he'll set you up with one. He's got plenty of stainless steel stuff over there. So
and some pretty nice ones from what I hear.
Oh yeah. Actually, I've got one from his store a couple of years ago, and it's still as good as new. But I was just going to say, a lot of people think that this setup that I have is heavy. Yeah, it's heavy, but you know what? It works, and it's lasted.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Yeah, sure, it's going to be a little heavier because it's stainless steel as opposed to, say, aluminum.
Oh, but, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You know, do you want quality or don't you?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I'm not going to say I don't. Well, okay, here's another thing, too, since we're on the scoops thing here. I've got a 2-piece travel scoop that I have, and it's aluminum. So I bring that when I go to Mexico. Florida.
See, now because I have a 2-piece travel scoop as well, where you can break the handle in half, basically.
Right.
And it's stainless.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. The whole handle?
The whole thing.
Yeah, very nice.
The
yeah,
scoop,
that's good.
The mesh, the handle. The only thing that isn't is, I think, maybe the spring clip and the foam padding.
Okay. Here's the thing. You said you have a screen on that one? Is that towards the back end of it, the screen?
Actually, it's towards the back, but it's in the back and also along the bottom towards the back.
Okay. And does it have a piece of stainless that wraps so that when you step on it, you're not crushing the screen?
Yeah, it's got the foot strut.
Right, exactly. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I've seen those. I have used them. The screens in my area, it's all relative to where you're using it, right?
Oh, yeah. So, after time, you're going to trash that mesh.
Well, that's exactly what has happened. In fact, I know a couple of other people that have had them, and they, although the screen is stainless too, it's got that stainless, but it doesn't really hold up in my area anyway. Here in New England, we not only have, we've got, we got stones, we've got, the good sized rocks, 6, 8, 10-inch rocks.
Right.
And, when you're out in the water, that's the last thing you want to have to deal with. It's very cumbersome. You don't want, you want convenience and you want something that's going to last, but you don't want to get out there in the middle of, let's say, up to your neck, and you're trying for that one last signal that might be out a little too deep, because you got to keep in mind.
Yeah, you've been out for a while, you're getting fatigued, wore down.
Exactly. Yep. And usually when stuff happens, it's usually towards the end of the day and when you least expect it. So you got to really be careful.
Oh yeah. Like we said, you get fatigued. You're not as focused.
Right.
Things happen.
I was going to say, you're reaching out there. You're up to about your neck, and you're trying to get that one last signal, and you know where it is. It's always out a little bit deeper. So now you're reaching, and of course you can't go any further, but you got to take into consideration, if you do get that signal, right? Mm-hmm. When you get that signal and you're digging,
then you got to keep it in the scoop to get it out of the scoop.
Well, here's the thing. You can't usually get it because, if it's a foot deep, how are you going to retrieve it? You're going to be over your head.
Right.
So you got to keep those things in mind. Safety first.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, we've seen, unfortunately, I know you've seen and heard of things like that. I have as well, where water hunters die in 4 feet of water.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it can happen. So I always try to...
worse yet, dive in and get disoriented.
Well, that's a whole nother show, obviously. But since you brought it up, I mean, you know what? That is one of the very first things they teach you. Obviously, always dive with a buddy. The buddy system. Safety in numbers, right, buddy?
Right.
And the other thing is, anything can happen. I've been in some pretty bad situations myself. Not me personally, but with others that have had issues underwater. And, all I can say is a nervous crew makes a nervous captain. Let's put it that way. So you really got to be, on your guard and keep your head up, keep a good head, keep calm.
Yeah, keep your sense about you.
Yeah, and always remember to breathe. Do not hold your breath underwater.
Right.
Never, ever hold your breath. So.
Well, plus, if you're all, nervous, you're dealing with anxiety and stuff, that just opens the door to mistake and error.
That's right. The first thing about that, if you're claustrophobic, I would highly recommend not even bothering, because if here, and again, New England is a little on the different side here. Our clarity, if we see
you don't have necessarily as much visibility as, say, somewhere down in the Gulf or something.
Correct. The visibility here is, if we get a 10-foot day, we're like, wow, I can't believe how nice it is. But I've been in, Honduras where I could see 100 feet. I'd plop over the side and I could see the bottom. It was like, wow, I don't even have to dive. I could snorkel today and see what I want to see. Crazy. But to get back to here, and then here's the other thing. Even in the summertime, you could actually use a hoodie. So if you are claustrophobic in any which way, putting on your gloves, you got that thermal climb after about 35, 40 feet here. Even in the summertime, in the dead of summer, July and August, it's not uncommon for the water to be, a miserable 54, 55 degrees. So it gets pretty cold, and it happens fast. If you're cold, it's already too late.
And not only claustrophobic, because that's, you just don't like the whole sense of confinement or something, but that's also exactly the restriction. Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of restriction. You've got that big, thick rubber 6 mil on. You got your gloves, your boots. You got the one piece on, you got your hoodie, the mask, the snorkel, your tanks, your BC, all your gauges, your weight belt. I mean, it just gets...
And suddenly, now we're not packing so light.
Exactly. So, and then, throw in the fact that, you've got about an hour and 10 minutes, depending on the depth that you're at. But, let's say we're doing something that's less than a deco dive. So, you might be down there for an hour and 10 or 15 minutes on a good day. And it's just, I'll tell you what, your hips are going to hurt. I will guarantee you your hips will hurt. Mm-hmm. I myself, I'm using, 30 pounds of lead. And it can really get tiresome.
That's a lot to have around your waist.
It is, yeah.
Definitely.
So,
you get into some of these other areas, then you've got the whole aspect of, you're having to watch for shark and...
Yeah, absolutely. You got to really be careful. I mean, I've seen many sharks, but thank goodness in our area we don't have to worry about. We don't have to worry too much about some of the dangerous ones. Let's just say we do have a lot of sharks, but we've got, we got the sand sharks or dogfish as we call them here. We got the spiny dogfish. They don't even bother you. I mean, they'll swim right near you.
Well,
I feed them.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I feed them, my friends.
Oh, wow. What do you feed them?
I just said, my friends.
Oh, well.
Oh, you thought I was saying they were my friends.
Right.
No, I feed them, my friends. No, they don't bother you.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly don't seem to have a problem with finding people to hunt with, so I guess they're well fed.
Hey, we got the fattest sharks in New England.
There you go.
But I will tell you, speaking of fat sharks, we've got that huge seal population off of the Cape, and it is growing ever so. I saw a video just recently, within the last 6 weeks or so. Someone flew a small plane over the peninsula where they're all living. And I would have to say, without a doubt, there must have been at least 5,000 to 8,000 seals living on that peninsula now. Whereas at one time, you were lucky if you saw 5. There's that many. It's absolutely gone bonkers over there. So that, the great whites, which have been here for hundreds of millions of years, are now saying, that's pretty easy. They all got to eat too, so they just kind of stroll back and forth. And I'm sure you've seen the reports in the last few years. They're getting. Let's just say this: it's very easy for them to make a meal out of it. I mean, because the seals have to eat too, so they've got to get out there. I think they eat like a third of their own weight every day, if not more.
Oh,
so
good grief. I'd never fit into a wetsuit again.
Well, that's the thing. We look like them, so you got to be careful where you're swimming, buddy.
Well, yeah, especially when you're suited up.
Yeah, we look just like a seal, especially when you're on top, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, shark sees you and goes, snatched.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, it's a domino effect over here. We've got the pipe and plovers. We've got which was another whole issue altogether, as far as the reason why we could. Well, here's what happened. We've got such a shark issue over here now, I guess in the past few years, because of the seals. And the seals are there now because they stopped the fishermen from going on the island, because now they can just sit there and get fat like they normally do. And, so that's what happens. They've taken up residence there. Well,
yeah, so there's basically there's no population control.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's just out of control is exactly what it is. So, the reason why they stopped the fishermen from going there initially was because we had the pipe and plovers come into our area, and they were on the endangered species list at the time, which I believe they're not any longer. And they didn't want the vehicles running over the nests and or over the baby chicks this time of year, which was okay.
Makes sense.
I think, but it's created an issue now. A lot of people don't realize that, so when there's no human activity in this area, things have gone back to the way it used to be. And so now this is why we've, like I said, it's a domino effect, right? There's
right.
no men there, no women there. There's no kids there. It's an off-limits beach. You can't do anything there anymore. So the wildlife has reclaimed it, I should say.
Wow. Going back to nature.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, it's just, my point about that story is if they want to take care of the shark issue, let the fishermen go back over there.
Right. Take care of the seal issue. The sharks are going to move on to greener pastures, so to speak.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And you know what? And don't take this the wrong way, Josh, but look, if the pipe and plovers can fly, which, by the way, they are not on the endangered list any longer, as far as I know of last year or the year before. They could be back there again. I really don't know. I might be out of line by saying this, but here's my thought. If you want to control the shark issue, let the people go back fishing there like they have been doing for the last 100 years. And, and here's the thing about the pipe and plovers. I feel if a 2-inch bird can fly all the way from Mexico, yes, I said all the way from Mexico, and make it here to Cape Cod, I think that he can probably make it back.
I would think so.
I think he can jump out of the way of a vehicle that's only moving about 2 or 3 miles an hour. So,
yeah, he may have to stop for a layover or something. But...
yeah, no, my point is, I know I'm trying to be kind of kidding about it a little bit, and I totally get it. I'm a naturist myself. I love fishing. I love birds. Used to do the hunting and all that. But my point is that
I love fish too. They're tasty.
Yeah. Yeah. They are great. And no, my point is that if they want to take care of the shark issue, like you just said, let us go back fishing there, or let people go back on the island and just sunbathe. Those seals will not lay there as long as they weren't there for all those years. Why would they stay there? Mm-hmm. If the human activity is there, they won't stay. So that'll get rid of your sharks and your birds, and you won't have such a mess over there. I can't imagine what that island must smell like now with all those birds. There's hundreds of thousands of them.
Yeah,
seagulls, the terns.
That's got to be a mess to try and hunt in.
It's a mess. It's a mess. I can't even imagine. So anyway, just my thought. I rambled enough. Your turn.
We get it here. We have to deal with the geese, and our deer population is usually fairly large. As a matter of fact, here recently they've been expanding, to like double tag season, where you can bag 2 of them a season, 3 of them, whatever.
Wow. We're facing the same situation here on the East Coast. For some reason, the geese are another bird that when I was growing up, if we saw them, we thought, wow, that was like, holy mackerel, geese? Canadian geese? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, now you're going, would you get out of my way?
Oh, they're all over the place. And hey, listen, them things, a lot of people think they're eating grass, right? When they're on a golf course. Did you know that they actually eat the roots of the grass? They will rip that sod out of the ground and eat the roots. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, they're greedy.
They're a bad culprit. Oh, they will eat them things up.
Don't get me wrong. I try to eat up every silver coin I can get my coil over, but them geese, man.
Right.
Don't give them a detector.
Exactly.
Once they get the taste of gold, we'll have to hang up our gear.
Oh, man. Speaking of animals, real quickly, I know we kind of got off the topic there a little bit. My neighbor, I noticed they had a crashed front end. I said, what happened? and I saw them both outside looking down at the front of it, what was left of it anyway. They hit a deer. They hit a deer the other night. So, yeah. So I noticed they had some steaks out on the grill there the other night, and I said, "Oh, what's that?" And they said, "Venison." I said, "Oh, nice."
Yeah, I'm going to get something out of this.
Exactly. That and about $3,000 damage. Unbelievable.
Right.
So anyway,
that's
back
an
to metal
expensive
detecting.
steak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back to the metal detecting. Anyway, Stavar screws are I use. I have used the aluminum ones when I go, like I said, to Mexico. I don't bring anything special when I go down there. I try to pack light too. That way I've only got one carry-on with all my equipment underneath, I should say, the one that I use through the baggage claim. And then I have some of my more personal items.
Okay. Because I was going to say, how in the world are you getting your CTX in as carry-on?
Yeah, I'm not. You would have to actually break it right down, which I do anyway, but I put it underneath in a hard case. And I don't have a cheap hard case. I bought a really nice one because it looks actually like a Pelican box. Mm-hmm. It was very expensive, but it was so worth it to protect a $2,000 machine plus whatever else you bring in. Some guys bring 2 or 3 machines. Mm-hmm. So Diggers, it's not a bad idea.
Coils.
Yeah.
Because, when we're talking CTX, you can get a fair amount of money wrapped up in just a coil.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or a lower shaft.
Most of us bring more than one, right? We're always trying to be prepared.
Exactly.
The time that you're going to need it is when you don't have it.
Right, exactly. You get out there and you're going, oh, I wish I would have brought this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You think about it, you think you've got everything, and then you get there, you're hunting, and you're going, oh, why didn't I think about that? It would have been handy.
Right.
Oh,
even
we've got a caller, Leighton.
All right, bring him in.
Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Well, hello, Miss Lori.
Hello. How are you guys doing? It's been so long.
I know.
Yes, it has.
We missed you.
We've even got Swans in here with us, too.
Sweet.
Oh, boy. Do you want to talk about what you carry out when you're out metal detecting?
Well, I'm thinking, we'll see what Lori's got to say first and get back to you. But while we're trying to get back to you, I'm kind of thinking you may want to think about carrying a decoy picnic basket.
Yeah, I saw those pictures, by the way. Oh, my. Anyway.
Yeah. Hey, boo-boo. So, how have you been, Lori?
Oh, crazy busy. We've had a unbelievable start to the season. We actually landed a permission on a fur trade post, so we did it.
Nice.
Very good. I saw you digging some really nice stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Really unique stuff that I can't even identify with. It's items from 1700s, so stuff I've never seen before.
Wow. That's amazing.
And the thing is that it's actually right on the water's edge, so we have permission to get into the water right on this site. So I'm so anxious. To get in the water, so I was trying to buy a scoop, and I need something really heavy duty because I think, like you were saying, we have a really rocky, sandy soil, mostly rocky, and I mean rocks, like rocks and not little stones, but rocks.
Right.
Here's
the deal.
Not stones and pebbles, but rocks and boulders.
Rocks and yeah.
Here's the deal, Laurie. When you get that scoop, right, and it's a stainless steel scoop, I would highly recommend going and having either Eric or somebody get it welded and get yourself a stainless steel, especially where you're going to keep it, you know what I mean? You're not going to be traveling with it. It's going to be in your possession all the time. Get a nice little stainless steel handle welded to it, and you'll have it pretty much forever. But the thing is with the rocks...
Or even one of those handles from Anderson.
Yeah, that's right. They actually just came out with a nice handle, too. That's right. I'm glad you reminded me of that, actually. I forgot all about that. So, my bad. My bad on that. But I was going to say, here's the thing with rocks. If you've got one or two while you're digging, that's one thing. But when you got what sounds like you're experiencing already, there's a whole bunch of them in that one little area. That's what takes its toll on those cages.
Yeah.
Because when you get down and you start using the scoop to kind of bend some of those rocks out of your way, that's when you start bending the stainless steel scoop itself. So.
Okay. Well, that's it. I have to order one. Because the water is going to be, it's still ice cold. The water's still ice cold. But as soon as it warms up, like enough for me to bear it, probably I'm in the water.
Right.
I can't wait. I also have Eric with me. You going to say hi?
Oh.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Nice find recently, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm super happy. I
haven't put up a picture yet. I'm probably going to add it to our 2016 finds there. But I know I sent both of you a picture of the wonderful native trade silver spill he had found. Oh, it had 6 earrings, 2 rings, and a trade brooch, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Wow.
Yeah,
and
I thought I heard somebody hollering that day.
He was hollering for a week. Because, he goes, we want is just one piece of trade silver. I mean, it's been highly on our wish list forever. Just one.
Well, there you go. Be careful what you wish for.
times 6, 7, 8, 9, times 9.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that was nice.
It was
definitely one to be proud of, for sure.
Absolutely. So mind you, with all the metal detecting that we've been doing and life and the kids and everything else, I haven't gotten one video done in months.
Uh-oh.
It happens.
You've been missing from the show here for a while, so I figured you guys kind of went off and did your thing for a while.
No, it was just the kids have been sick. I think it was Jazz. I started with her first for 1 week, and then it was Maddie last week, and the week before we've been trying to get our yard work done during the evenings and stuff. And so by the time, we're running after life right now. There's just so much to be done. We just went to try to get a permit to build our steps legally, and we just found out that we bought a big boo-boo mistake because they never had a permit for the thing in the back and all this sort of stuff. Anyways, it's been a real pain in the Oops, did I say that?
No.
Hey, Josh, she said ass.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Perish the thought.
So needless to say, we've been running after life, and I just wanted to call to say I'm so sorry, and I'm going to try my hardest, but at this time of year, it's just insane. It's been very insane.
Well, yeah,
Right.
Josh and I were talking about that too, and so don't feel bad at all. It does, life sometimes just gets a little bit ahead of us, and, although we have been able to connect, Josh and I, every Sunday and Wednesday, who knows what the summer's going to hold, right? So don't feel bad. If you can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way things have been lately. It's a struggle for either of us to get out and hunt. Who knows what's going to happen if we both get out the same day and have a hell of a day.
Boy. Yeah.
Well, anyways, I have to give it to you because, like I said to Eric, I said, look at them. They're still going every single week, And I'm like, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Energizer Bunny. We're just going to keep right on rolling.
Which is awesome.
Right.
Anyways,
but here's the thing. Here, just before you leave, here's the thing. I hate to admit this. You haven't seen me post one goodie in 6 weeks, have you?
I haven't seen much, but I thought it was because I was so busy and missing everything. And
no, he is.
I'm missing it all. I have not even dug a hole in 6 weeks.
Oh no!
So it's I just work caught up with me there, and it's launch day tomorrow for the boat, so that's definitely a go. I'm taking tomorrow off for me, so that's where I'm at.
Well,
Right.
I hope you get out there soon and find some more of that big chunker gold rings.
Yeah, we're
Right.
us donkus.
Oh boy. Well, you guys take care, and I'll go back and listen to the rest of the show. I'll let you guys get back to Swansea. And
all right. Thanks for the call.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Okay, have a good one.
Yeah, we somewhere in the duration of all that, we lost Swans, so maybe he'll call back in.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But, Lori's like, wow, look at them. They're still going every week, Sunday, Wednesday. Well, one of the reasons why the show is able to air like that Sunday night, Wednesday night, and just continue to banter back and forth and all of that is because of the fact that you're a part of the show, Leighton, and such a great guy to co-host with.
Man, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
So, thanks to you.
It's not all me. It takes two, buddy. I think it's it's working well for now. Let's just keep on riding the wave, and when the wave starts to simmer down, then we'll do something different. But as of right now, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. And I don't know. What do you think? Maybe we ought to do some sort of giveaway?
I'd love to hear something giveaway. Go ahead.
Well, let's see.
I'm sure you can dig something up there.
Here's something maybe a little fun, since we did see Trevor in the chat.
Yes, we did. He's still there.
Yeah. 419-549-5744. The first caller to tell me this is a Coiltech themed question, what does WATT stand for? And they just won themselves a Coiltech hat and bag, courtesy of our friends over at Coiltech. So we'll see how that goes and see if anybody even remembers, which I'm sure many people do.
Trevor says he knows. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, some people don't realize that, especially a lot of the newcomers to the hobby.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Everything today is so fast-paced. Everything is abbreviated. Everything is go, go, go. The texting, the driving, everybody's in a hurry. So what I'm saying is basically everything is so fast moving that people don't take the time to learn, I guess, what things stand for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's go, go, go. I'm guilty of it myself. You know what? Somebody texts me, I'm even abbreviating things. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm old school, buddy.
Right, yeah.
I hit my phone ring, I go, what's that?
Yeah. Huh? Going, what do they mean? OMG, LMAO.
Yeah, right, exactly. I don't know what happened to Brandon. I think he got kicked off there or something. I don't see him in there. Where was he?
He may have lost his internet. Well, I see him in the chat.
Yeah, he's there. Okay. I know I saw somebody earlier got booted, so I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was him or not.
You know how it goes. When he stands sideways, he disappears.
Right.
Uh-oh. What do we got here? We've got a caller. Let's see. Where'd they go? Go ahead, caller.
Are you guys talking about that wild orange thing?
Yes.
Well, you were close, Swans.
Close?
Yes, you were close. But that's not it.
No.
You were so close, though.
Well, that's fine. I was going to tell you to give it to the next guy anyway, but I was just going to tell you that my everyday carry now has to be something due to the fact that we have black bears apparently all of a sudden in my area.
I know. I saw you post that picture, and Tam's like, what is that? I don't know. That's a funny looking dog. That can't be a dog.
No, it's
and I
really
looked at the picture.
Big cat.
Yeah, I looked at the picture and I'm like, whoo, boy. I said, that looks like a black bear, and that thing looks to be about the right size that Mama ain't too far away, probably.
Yeah, my guess by seeing it face to face after seeing him when I was a kid, this is probably, my guess would be 130 to 150 pounds.
It's about 150 pounds bigger than I'd care to walk into.
I agree with 100%.
Yeah, I'm sure that's about 150 pounds more than you cared to tangle with.
You got that
That's
right.
probably about 50 pounds more than I weigh. So yeah, that was funny enough for me to see.
Yeah, like I said, there's a digging buddy for you. Ain't nobody sneaking up on him.
Well, like you said the other night, Josh, and you and I were talking about it. I walked out of my garage. I turned the right-hand corner because I thought one of my flower hangers had dropped off my porch. And that thing is standing literally 8 to 10 feet away. I looked him in the eye, and I think you probably said the correct line was, he's probably thinking, man, that's a skinny Slim Jim, but I'll eat him.
No, right, yeah, exactly. Talk about out of the frying pan into the fire.
Oh, it was just unreal. So I went in the house real quick. You know, I'm getting out through the front door, and he's just kind of snorting around the front yard, and I stomped my feet as many times as I possibly could on my porch, and he just didn't care. The picture that I took where he's facing me, he's literally to the side of my porch looking back at me when I'm stomping and yelling at him to leave. He's just like, I think I'll leave when I feel like it.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's probably looking over at you like, really? You think you're scaring me?
So that's
it's
why
a good thing you didn't have a big roast that you were trying to take outside.
Right, exactly. So that's one reason why when I metal detect with cellar holes, if I'm out in the woods, especially by myself, the main thing that I make sure is on my side is some sort of a firearm, which we can have openly here in New Hampshire.
Right. Well, and I did tell Tam that shortly before that, you had to chase a big cat off the deck, so your dog didn't go nuts.
Oh, yeah, the black cat on the back. When you and I were on the phone, there was a black cat on my back deck.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, all
and
black
you had
cat,
even
and
mentioned,
deck, and I tried to get that stupid thing out of my yard. It didn't work. And then,
yeah, and you had even mentioned,
I ate dinner, and there's that freaking black bear in the front yard. So either he ate something that made him grow, or he's got friends in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and you had even mentioned, I didn't know the neighbors had a black cat. And I told Tam, I said, well, they may not now. That bear may have seen him and said, ooh, snack.
Oh, yeah, it was unreal to see that thing so close. And then, of course, my duty to do is, I live out in the middle of the woods anyway, was go to my neighbor's house afterwards and then drive down the road to the guy that has the property that abuts to mine about a quarter of a mile away. That's where the bear went, and he had to bring his horses in and stuff like that. So I know he's on red alert for it, too. But, in 5 years where I've lived on this property, I've never seen a bear anywhere near our property, nor seen scat or anything like it.
Right.
Has there been some food outside recently? I mean, I know we're kidding around the cat, but has there been food left out, or is it just...
No, we don't do anything like that up here, Leighton. We don't even have compost in our area because, we've had warnings from our town not to put, compost piles out, bring in your bird feeders by February.
Wow. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, he was just very, very curious, and he's standing in the flower bed of my front yard, so...
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a picture. It looked like you were kind of like maybe poking around the corner of the house. That's the picture I saw.
Yeah, the pictures that I took, actually, when I walked around the house, of course, I didn't stop and take a selfie with the bear, when I saw him come out of my garage. So I went back in the house, and then when he got kind of a little bit nerved up and went down on the other side of the flower bed, I'm standing on the porch, and he's at the corner of my house, which is probably 12 feet away from where I took the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, now maybe we've finally solved the mystery of what happens to your bird feeders.
Yeah, I think we just pretty much figured that one out, and he literally, apparently, in the past, has taken them to decide to devour them. We didn't have anything up this time for him to be able to, get his hands on, so, he's just probably looking for a next free meal, and there was nothing there for him, and he just got pissy enough to almost knock on the front door or hit the doorbell.
Yeah, exactly. He'd come up and knock on the front door looking for a picnic basket, ask you if the ranger was there.
Right.
You haven't been
definitely
using
an odd situation.
You haven't been using that underarm deodorant that smells like a salmon or anything, have you?
No, I gave up on Old Spice years ago, Leighton.
Okay.
And I won't use it again in the future either. So yeah, the eau de salmon does not do well for bears.
Okay.
Don't go smoking any fish for a while.
Yeah,
I'll give that a rest for a little bit. And that's the funny other thing I thought, too, of Josh is, maybe he smelled my grill or my smoker or something like that, right. But that's on the back deck. This was my front porch to my house, so it was the opposite side of the house.
Well, but if the wind's carrying right.
Yeah, but I haven't cooked anything on them, is what I'm saying. I thought maybe he could be attracted to the old grease of the smoker or something like that, but again, he's in the total 180-degree direction wrong for that part of the house, but, it was just kind of it was a funny thing, but the worst part about it was I'd been out cellar hunting that day, metal detecting, and so I'm thinking, okay, I can go out, get in the house, grab my gun, put a warning shot in the air, he'll run away. Well, where's my gun? In my car. Where's the bear? Between me and the car. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't even throw a shot in the air just to scare the crap out of him or anything like that. I had to stamp my feet on the garage on the porch floor just to scare him off like a 2-year-old, and he just looked at me like I had 3 heads and decided to take off when he wanted to take off.
Right, yeah. Where does the bear stand when he comes to visit? Wherever he damn well pleases.
You damn right, and I went right back in the damn house.
And if he's
well, it sounds like that was a good choice.
Yeah, and if he's out there in the daytime, obviously he's out there at night too, right? So, got to be careful.
Yeah, this was at 8:15 at night, so it was just getting dark here, you're at New England, New England territory, it's just starting to get dark. It's just kind of that dusk period of time, so...
Right.
I'm assuming he's not out here in the daytime that I've noticed because my dog would freak out during the day, but there's no scat anywhere. Like I said, in 5 years is the first time I've ever seen it.
Yeah, and I was going to say a black bear, I'm pretty sure you're going to notice that if you run across any scat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty prominent at that point.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to be able to look and go, well, that wasn't my dog.
Yeah, and it's definitely not the turkeys that come through the yard, so...
Right.
Hey.
Well, it just goes to show, though, you got to be careful. You like hunting them cellar holes and stuff, so you're out there in the woods.
And again, that's kind of my point, too, and I'm curious if other people do it. I'd be curious to talk to Dave Wise and Todd Hilt about it, where they're out in the woods so much all the time. If they run into any type of nature, problems like that, or a coyote or a random fox, or, even like we have up here, Leighton knows, we have fisher cats, the fishers. I'd be curious if anybody else runs into that stuff when they're out cellar hole hunting. To me, I just don't want to take that chance without something to my side.
Yeah, with Todd and Dave, I think they basically live out there anyway. The only reason they come home is to check their mail and put their finds in the display cases.
They probably know the bears by name.
Yeah, exactly. Man. And if you'd asked that one, maybe he knows them.
Right, exactly. Well, I'll let somebody else get in there and try to answer the question to your trivia question there. I just want to throw out there that that's one of my everyday carries now that I do the cellar holes. When I did the fields, obviously you don't have to worry about anything like that. But, yeah, now that I'm doing the cellar holes, it's always a 9mm on the side or something of that equivalent.
And congratulations
keep
on
your eyes
finds.
open and your ears open.
I was going to say, congratulations on your finds recently, too. You're doing okay, buddy.
Yeah, I've been doing pretty
nice.
decent recently. I got my second copper today, 2 large cents on Monday, the 1875 seeded the other day. So, yeah, it's been decent recently anyway. I'm thinking I'm kind of converted to the cellar hole thing over the fields.
Yeah. Well, and as well as I do, that's the only place you'll probably be able to hunt now anyway pretty soon because everything is either going to be planted or too much fescue growing. You won't be able to swing anyway. So,
correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stay inside the woods. Watch out for those wood ticks, buddy.
Well, then I'm also looking out. I found another cellar hole Leighton that I haven't hit yet. I'm going to save this one for the next time you could come up to New Hampshire. We can get a plan together. I've got I'm pretty sure is a virgin cellar hole, and this would be a good one to hit, I think.
I'd love to come with you, my friend. I will be up there. I promise. You think I? Knocking on you.
Well, and if you well, and if you get up there and see that bear, Leighton, just remember, Swansea's got a sidearm.
Yeah, well, don't worry. He'll hear me scream loud enough. That bear will take off. The only thing
Well, then
I can see it
get that
now.
on video then.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can see it now. Swansea will be hunting, and all of a sudden he feels this breeze. What was that?
Yeah.
Where'd Leighton go?
Right. You ever see that Gilligan's Island episode where they all get scared and they go flying across the lagoon, really like in fast motion? That'll be me.
And you hear their little, when they're speaking the whole time, it's almost like the squirrels speak the entire time they're going.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that'll be me,
Yeah,
buddy.
you may even get to see Leighton kind of walk on water.
Yes, sir. That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you've done well for yourself, Swans, and when you get back out there, make sure to keep your eyes peeled.
I'll do that, guys. I appreciate the call, and we'll let the next person get on here.
All right. Have a good night.
All right.
Good night.
Yeah, got to watch out for that wildlife. You just never know. And like he said, that's the first one he's seen around there in, 5 years?
I know. We don't even have, we have them in the western part of Mass and obviously up in northern Mass, and he's not too far from Mass, so it doesn't surprise me to hear or see the pictures that he's posted. And this time of the year, like you said, they got the cubs, and you really got to be careful. You never know. And, the population for them is getting larger and larger, so they have to expand just like the deer, and they'll move further and further and closer into, into a habitated area. I mean, that's just natural for them to do. Because bears are territorial, so that if there's one inside that area and that big one says, hey, we don't want you here, he's got to find a new place. So that's what's happening.
Right. Yeah, and when I looked at that picture, like I said, I'm like, well, that's a little concerning. There's a bear in his yard, but what concerns me is the size of the bear, because that thing's just big enough that I'm looking for Mama.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because she's probably not very far off.
Oh, she's not too far. She's just around the corner. Then what really sucks?
Yeah.
What's really sucks about that whole thing is that they can climb. So there's nowhere to go.
Exactly. And once Mama comes out, whew.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because if Swansea thought that one was good size, wait till Mama comes around the corner.
That's right. Exactly. So yeah, I'm not afraid of bears, but of course, I say that honestly if there's a set of bars between him and I, or her and I.
Right.
So
yeah, I was gonna say, I guess I'm not necessarily afraid of them, but I'm a firm believer that they can stay in their corner and I'll stay in mine.
That's right. That's right.
It did make for some very neat pictures, though.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, how many guys do you know of, or women that you know of, can say that they were that close to a bear in wildlife? Not me. I've never.
Yeah, not too many at all. I mean, the last bear story I can recall is the one that was related by Lori and Eric when they were on the show last year.
Right. I remember you talking about it, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's something that, fortunately, apparently we don't run across very much as hunters.
And that's fine with me, But I guess, some people are like, okay, so, Swans is up there and he has to deal with stuff like that. Whereas, like we were talking about a little earlier, myself being in the water, got to worry about sharks, right? So I guess, and you know what? If you're down in Mexico, you got to watch out for the bad boys down there too. You get stingrays or manta rays.
Yeah, you don't want to get barbed.
That's right, absolutely. As
it
happened
just
with
goes
my
to
friend.
show. Yeah, it just goes to show that it doesn't matter what the environment is. We're still going to have our environmental hazards to deal with.
Right. Yeah. We do.
Doesn't mean that we're going to see them all the time, but it does happen. I mean, heck, I got chased out of a public park one day because there had been a loose dog running around that had already bit 2 people.
Oh, I almost got bit a few weeks back. Remember I told you about that?
Right.
It was a pit bull.
The cops had come down and told me that I needed to vacate the area because they had the dog pinned in a corner of a garage and they were going to have to shoot it.
Oh, man. Wow.
And they didn't want anybody downrange you
Right.
know, in case they missed or something.
Right. Wow. That's, you know, when
some people definitely need to do some more frequent practicing with their firearms, we'll say.
Right. You know, let's face it, you know, when we're in the woods or we're in the water, we're in their living room, right? Unlike
I mean, you can't necessarily fault the animal because, you know, we're in their environment.
Exactly. And here's a perfect example. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show or privately with you before, but I have gone down, you know, to Mexico quite a few times hunting. And the first thing that we always talk about, my friends and I, when we go together is, you know, some of the safety things, some of the hazards that we might encounter. You know, if we get there late in the day, you know, we're tired. We try not to get out that very first day. We want to be collected.
Well rested.
Exactly. Yeah. Depending on the time of day that we arrive. But, you know.
That way we can go running up to the water's edge and say, last one's in's food for the shark if he comes too close.
That's right. So, you know, but we do go over some of the safety things. And one of the biggest safety things that we always bring to the table is what we call the shuffle walk when we're out in the water. And the reason for the shuffle walk is, you know, more often than not in Mexico, if you look behind you after you're shuffling your feet forward, it's to scare the manta rays and the skates and whatever barbed fish are in front of you away from you. But more than often, if you look and turn around, about 3 to 4 feet in back of you, you'll find them all following you. They're eating all the debris as you're walking and kicking it up. So you're kind of helping them out in a way to feed them, but in the other end of it, you know, you don't certainly want to walk on one. And a perfect example, 3 years ago when I had my friend and we went down and he was not doing the shuffle, and actually with his coil, because he was rubbing it along the seafloor back and forth, sweeping it, he hit a skate and it actually turned around and rode his leg up between his groin and stung him. And
that's a showstopper for the day.
It was. And in fact, he was out of commission for about 30 hours. He had to sit on the sidelines for about a day. Yeah, he was.
I can't even imagine. That had to have been painful.
It was, and I've never seen.
Because especially if he got him along that upper groin muscle like that, that's a sensitive area. Very,
and you know, I'll tell you. I mean, you know, we all don't want to go, let's say, to a hospital. You know, in a third world country,
where nobody speaks English, possibly.
Exactly. You know, you're not really sure of the type of care you're receiving. And
right.
There's a language barrier.
It just makes the whole situation scary because you can't understand what they're saying to know how they're planning to treat you.
Right. And, you know, so basically he took some over-the-counter Benadryl and he shook it off. I'll give him that. I think he was lucky. Maybe not as bad as it could have been, but it wasn't good. I will tell you, his leg blew up almost twice the size as his other leg. It was scary. I kept telling him to go to the hospital, but he was stubborn and said, you know, he didn't feel sick or anything. I said, dude, you got something going on. It stung you. It poisoned you, you know, so.
Yeah, your body's fighting off that poison.
Infection, right, exactly. So, yeah, it wasn't good. It was not good.
Good thing they didn't get him in the arm. You could have called him Popeye.
He would have been like Popeye. It really, yeah. In fact, well, look what happened with Josh, right?
Well, yeah, with the rattlesnake. Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Right. That's exactly the term he used. He said, my arms look like Popeye, you know?
Yeah, he said it swelled up. I looked just like Popeye with that arm.
Right. And for those that haven't heard that story, basically he was not quite expecting it to happen, obviously, or he had not put himself in that harm's way. He was walking by.
It was early in the year. It was still cool.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even on the ground.
No, it was up in a trellis, I guess, of some type near our side of a house, and he actually thought he got like a thorn or something.
Yeah, pricked by a thorn or a sticker bush or something.
Right, so he ended up getting bit by a rattlesnake, and unfortunately he was, what did he say, 2 hours away from the nearest
yeah, I was going to say it was at least an hour and maybe 2 hours from the nearest hospital.
Right.
So at that point, that's certainly scary. And good for him that he actually turned his arm, because when he first looked, he just saw one line of blood.
Right.
But then he turned his arm a little bit, and he saw the second line and the venom kind of seeping out, and that's why he looked up and saw the snake kind of flicking his tongue.
Yeah. Well, those Southern boys, I guess they're kind of, let's be honest. I mean, if that had happened to me, I probably would have panicked because, one, we don't have rattlesnakes with venom here. We do have a type of rattlesnake that imitates a rattlesnake, but they're not venomous in our area. But, in fact, I don't think there are any poisonous snakes in Massachusetts that I know of. We've got the garter snakes, and we've got some black racers and, the moccasins and all that stuff. But I don't think that they're to the point where you would die, let's say. I'm not saying it'd be fun to get bit by one, but...
Right. Well, and that's another thing that probably dramatically improved his situation was when he saw the snake, the first thing he did was turn that arm off.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, once, there's an old saying, right? A nervous crew is a nervous captain. So he kept his cool. And
because when you get nervous like that, your heart starts to race. It would have been spreading that venom quicker.
And then, of course, you're thinking, the worst. Oh, my God, I'm 2 hours away. And it's just snowballing out of control.
Yeah.
So,
it's the end of the world. I'm going to die.
Yeah. So you got to really be careful when you're out there metal detecting. I mean, it's just one of those things. You really got to be prepared for the unprepared happening. Yeah.
Chance favors preparedness.
Right. With all sports comes injuries, and if they can be avoided, I would say, that's the alternative. That's what we're trying to do.
Right. The best defense is to not be there. But, our research does lead us into some, kind of hairy situations sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, we never had problems with wood ticks that I can remember. Deer ticks? What was that? We didn't hear about that stuff. We saw the ones that were on the dogs.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they'd get, huge, and we'd pull them off, and we'd throw them in alcohol or burn them or whatever. As kids, we'd had a ball with that stuff. Now,
yeah, I mean, growing up, it's a wonder you didn't try to feed them to somebody.
Yeah. Now it's almost so common that you don't even hear about it anymore. The deer ticks are just something that you expect.
Yeah. I mean, now when you see them, you almost jump back in horror and throw a cross up at them or something. Back! Evil spawn!
But I don't know. It does. I think with any sport, it's just one of those things. You just got to really be aware of your surroundings. That's all.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't mean that we won't be immune to it, but
right.
In
fact, I don't know if you know anybody personally, but I can tell you 3 guys that I know of that have all gotten sick from the deer ticks, and they end up with Lyme's disease, and they're taking their shots, and it can really it can raise some havoc with you. It's really a bad disease.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't I can't think of anyone right off the top of my head that I personally know that has had to deal with that. But I have heard of plenty of people who have had to deal with that, and it's not a pleasurable time.
How about in fresh water? Do you have to worry about like leeches or anything like that? Or
Well, and that's a good point. That's something that we've never brought up on the show before either. But in some of these areas, you have to watch out for the water chiggers.
okay, yeah. See, we don't. Well, I don't do fresh water all that much, so enlighten me. I really don't know what them are. Really, I know.
Well, and that's not to say that I've ever ran across it.
Okay.
But from what I've heard from people who may have, is, you really don't even realize it until after the fact, and you itch all over.
Okay.
And that's basically, it's like a mild discomfort or whatever, because you're always itching, kind of like poison ivy or something. But, they make some sort of like a cortisone cream or something that you can apply that after a few days of treatment, you're good to go.
Okay. So is this something that bites you and then leaves your body? Or is it something that stays on your body and they just attach themselves? Or what's the story with them things? I know there are saltwater ones too,
right.
especially down in Florida.
I think it actually does stay. It's just they're too small to even see.
Okay,
but like I said, I have not had any personal experience with them, so I could be wrong. And then, some areas, yeah, sure, I suppose there's a problem with leeches, but I have never ran across that.
Right. I know Laurie was talking about snapping turtles. That's a good point, too. You really got to be careful in that fresh water or in the backwoods and those small estuaries where, there's a lot of mud.
The other week when me and Homefinder were out, we had seen some, minnows and frogs and stuff like that. I'm sure there had to have been a few turtles around.
Right.
And there were some nice-sized muskrat holes.
Okay.
So.
Well, we also have the man-o-war, Portuguese man-o-war, jellyfish. Those tentacles go. Just because you see them does not mean that you walk by them and they're gone. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've heard from some people long. Them tentacles run like 6 or 7 feet on some of them.
Oh yeah. Here they are. They're absolutely 6 or 7 feet, if not longer. If you get one that's the size of a dinner plate, I've seen those tentacles 15 to 20 feet long.
Wow.
So it's always good to carry, some type of, I know they say vinegar, and believe it or not, folks, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but even urine. Urine on a tentacle sting will help relieve it. It doesn't make it go away, but it will relieve it. So
I know there
could be all kinds of jokes about that, so let's try to keep it cool, but but anyway, yeah. So,
I'm waiting. I'm sure Swans has got something to say about that.
Or mud. Put mud on a sting. That's always a good one, right?
Right.
Yellow jackets. Bee stings. I know Dave Wise and Todd have run into those, and they were all cut up. I remember seeing something about a video with them running from.
Yeah, and if I remember right, the last time, maybe even the other times as well, those were underground hives.
Right, exactly, yeah. And you know what? Even landscaping, I've run over those black and white ones. Oh, boy. You don't even know it until it's too late.
Uh-oh.
You can't hear them going. You can't hear them chasing you because, you've got the machine running.
Yeah.
I've believe me, I've jumped off my machine more than once over the years. You go over them, it's too late. It's all over. They are on you.
Oh,
and they are relentless. They will sting you and sting you and sting you. So, not good.
Just another environmental hazard we have to try and remain alert and aware of at times.
Right. Here we don't have to worry about like electric eels and stuff like that or, anything like that. There is I posted the other day a goosefish on my webpage. It's called an anglerfish, but we call them monkfish. It's known for three. It's known of three different names: the goosefish, the monkfish, or an anglerfish. They are homely as sin, but they have a row of teeth like only Mama would love. Okay,
Wow.
And I will tell you, I have stepped on them, and they are extremely fast. They will bite your leg in a heartbeat, and they have the power in their jaws. It will take two grown men to open their mouth to get your foot out. So be very careful of those. They are here. They're not a summer fish. They're a very cold water fish. Thankfully, over the years, they've kind of diminished. We don't have as many around as there used to be, and they're usually in the winter months, December, January, February, when the frost fish are around. Is usually when you have to be careful for them, because they actually will sit there with their mouths open, and they look just like a rock. Wow. They look exactly like a rock. So you might want to step on one just to go from spot to spot, and that's when they'll get you. So
that makes sense.
For those of you who want to see what an ugly-looking fish we have in New England, that is one of them.
Right.
Anglerfish. Yeah. Very, 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 very ugly. But I will tell you this, their tails are excellent. They actually use them, let's see. They use those, it's a poor man's lobster or scallop. They chunk their tails up to make them look like deep sea scallops. They're really, really good. Monkfish tails. Fried in beer batter.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you, we're getting close to the end of our rope here.
All right, my friend.
But before
that was fast.
Yeah, well, time flies. But before we get going, we've got the Weekend Dig Sunday.
Yes, we do. And, we never did get the answer for that what. And you know what? I'd say Swansea was about as close as it gets. I'd say let's give him something, man.
He was very, very close. Or we can push it back to Sunday.
Nah, let's give it to him. He was, he was there. He was there.
Should we let the listeners off the hook and tell them what WAT stands for?
Go ahead.
The reason why I said Swans was so close with his wildly orange thing is because WAT stands for Wonderful Orange Thing.
So he was very, very close.
And quite a nice coil to get by Coil Tech, too. If
absolutely.
You can find one.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you can find one. Well, I know where we can get them.
That's right.
The man himself is in the house tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And has everyone heard at the beginning of the show, you can check them out at, I believe it was Coiltech, coiltech.com.au, I believe.
Right, AU, yeah. That's the one.
And, like we said with the Coiltech clip, the 10x5 is one of our favorites.
I love it.
And then Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Man, going to be a good show. I'm looking forward to talking to those two guys. We'll be hearing stories about 1,000-year-old relics or older. We'll be hearing stories about World War II ordnance, having to call out the bomb squad, and a few other very, very interesting stories.
Yeah, unique stories. I'll tell you right now, I'm looking forward to it.
From what I was hearing earlier today, speaking with one of the guests for Wednesday, man, it's awful tempting to try and schedule a trip to Germany. But they're really looking forward to it. They're excited about it, and it's going to be a good time. I mean,
Yes.
we've been a while in the making for this one because, once again, we're going across the pond, so we're battling time zones.
Right, exactly.
It'll
And
be
don't forget, go
like
ahead.
2 a.m. in the morning for them.
Yeah, we appreciate them taking time out of their sleep time to join us.
Right. But
And if you
were
can't
saying-
hear us live, I was going to say, if you can't hear us live, don't forget iTunes.
Right.
You can always catch us there. You don't have to listen to us live. We just appreciate you all coming back week after week. So that's what keeps Josh and I alive, and we like seeing our followers in the chat, and it's always great to get some humor out of you guys. It's not always shop talk. It's fun, and we do enjoy. We're like anyone else, right? We all just eat and breathe the same way, and it's good to shoot the fun stuff back and forth.
Absolutely, and it's great to see the continued listeners coming back like that, and to see those names in the chat. I mean, tonight we were very pleasantly surprised with some of the names that we had seen in there. I mean, to see Jim drop in and Trevor.
I know
that was definitely out of left field. I wasn't expecting that.
I know. Yeah, it was really nice to see them guys in there.
Yeah, and all the others too.
And don't forget, since we're talking about next week, let's go one more week.
That's right.
After that, we've got. Well, let's just spill the beans. We've got Jack Summers coming from Radio World,
and not
he's
only
talk about,
is this a first time for him to be on Beyond Sight and Sound, but it's his first interview ever for anyone. So we are delighted, and we're so looking forward to this. So I know Laurie's going to want to tune in for that one because that's coming right straight from Canada live. Right, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from our buddy Steve too.
Oh yeah, he'll be in there, I'm sure of it. And maybe Pete Anderson might drop in, I'm sure. So it's going to be a great show. Jack Summers will be with us on the 25th, I believe it is.
Yes.
And he'll be talking about that Hiawatha hunt that's happening up there in Canada.
Mhm. That's right.
And I will be joining them for that one. And we'd love to see you there too, buddy.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Something to think about it. I know.
I got things I got to get cleared off my plate, but who knows?
I got you.
And if I can't, well, hopefully maybe next time.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Well, I think we should probably roll on out then. So until the next time, Leighton.
Hey, keep it low, keep it slow. And thanks for joining us live tonight. We'll see you Wednesday.
All right. No, we'll see him Sunday.
So that's what I said, Sunday. You wouldn't hear me.
There you go. Yeah. I was just testing you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I was making sure you were paying attention.
Yeah, I was paying something.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate everyone for dropping in. We'll see you Sunday, like Leighton said. And until then, like he said, keep it slow, keep it low, get out there and find something. And if you do, post up the pictures. We'll see you next time, folks.